Charlie hadn't looked at him, but he could feel that this kid was doing his best to resist the aura that he had left in his body, so he looked up at him and sneered. "What's wrong with the god of war?" The god of war hurriedly said, "No, no, absolutely nothing." Charlie smiled and said, "If you want to get a gun, you have to get it out." After the god of war heard this, his whole body trembled. How could he know that he couldn't take it out? Could it be that he did something to him? Charlie took a deep look and said coldly, "I advise you to be honest. You can at least control your sphincter now. If you dare to do it again, I will let you not even control your sphincter. If you urinate any time, anywhere like a 1-year-old, don't blame me for not giving you a chance." As soon as the person heard this, his soul was frightened. What supernatural power does this guy have? What method did he use to make himself almost a useless person? Yanjung trembled in shock at this time. What the hell is this? The god of war and realm master he hired with a high salary were choked by Charlie and knelt down to call him father. That's fine, the key is that he can't even get the gun out? You know, this group of people are simply the ancestors of playing guns. They can't hold a gun, which is as ridiculous as a barber can't hold scissors. However, no matter how unthinkable the fact is, it is also a fact. Yanjung saw that the god of war was scared like a dead dog, and he didn't dare to say a word, knowing that it was absolutely useless to count on them today. In this way, isn't that slap in the face just now for nothing? Thinking of this, he was even more resentful. However, he did not dare to yell with Charlie too much at this time. So, he could only say angrily, "Okay. Kid, I remember you. Let's just wait and see." After speaking, he immediately said to his son Weiliang next to him, "Let's go." Charlie, who had been smiling all the time, suddenly sneered, "Go? Who let you go?" Yanjung covered his face and took a step back, and asked tremblingly, "You? What do you mean?" "What do I mean?" Charlie said coldly, "You took a few dogs and ran to someone else's house to bite and disturb others, and you want to turn your head and leave?" Yanjung didn't expect that Charlie slapped him in the face and didn't want to give up, so he trembled and asked, "What do you want?" Charlie said, "My demands are very simple. If you mess with me, you must satisfy me, otherwise none of you will leave." Weiliang scolded angrily, "Boy, don't overdo it. Otherwise, you don't know how to die." Charlie frowned and asked, "Who gave you the courage? You dare to talk to me like this at this time?" Weiliang had no bottom in his heart, but still gritted his teeth and threatened, "Provoke my family, beware of my family's order to pursue killings across the country, offering a reward of 1 billion hidden flowers for your head." Charlie nodded. "Good boy, it's interesting. Are you married yet?" Weiliang was stunned for a moment. What the HLL is this? Why did he suddenly ask about this? Seeing that he didn't speak, Charlie immediately stretched out his hands and condensed his ears. As soon as he came up, he twisted it nearly 180 degrees, and said coldly, "What the hell, are you deaf?" Weiliang felt a sharp pain in his ears, and felt like he was about to be pulled off by his life. He cried out in pain, "Ouch! It hurts to death. Release me." Charlie used his hand again. "If your ears don't work well, don't ask for it at all." Weiliang was afraid that Charlie would really pull his ears off, so he immediately pleaded, "Please don't screw it up. If you screw it up, it will fall out." Charlie said coldly, "Answer the question." Weiliang said hurriedly, I'm not married." Charlie nodded and said, "You're not married, and there are no children outside, right?" "No, no." Weiliang shook his head repeatedly. Charlie asked him again, "Then how many children did your dad have?" "3. How many men and women?" "I have 2 older sisters." "Oh." Charlie nodded and said, "Then you are your father's only son, right?" "Yes, yes, yes, yes." Charlie looked at Yanjung again, smiled and asked him, "I heard what you meant just now, as if you were very patriarchal, and ridiculed that others have no sons. It seems that your son is your lifeblood. Right?" Yanjung heard Charlie's words, with a full threat, and asked nervously, "You? What do you want to do?" "I warn you, if you dare to hurt my son, I will fight with you." Charlie smiled and said, "How can I hurt your son? I will only hurt your grandson." "Grandson?" Yanjung was even more puzzled. "I don't have a grandson. What does this guy mean?" Charlie asked him, "By the way, do you know Fredman, the chairman of East Cliff Future Company Group?" Yanjung frowned and asked suspiciously, "Yes, what's wrong?" Charlie asked again, "He has a hidden illness, he just got it some time ago, do you know?" Yanjung shook his head. "Don't fool around, just tell me if you have anything." Charlie smiled and said, "Fredman's hidden illness is just that the thing can't be used, but he still has fertility. That is, if he still wants a child, he can use artificial insemination." Everyone was at a loss. What is this guy going to say? At this time, Charlie sneered and said, "However, your son is not so lucky. From now on, he will be infertile." With that, a spirit energy entered Weilang's body. When dealing with Fredman, he also used infuriating energy to seal the roots, making him lose the ability to find pleasure, but he did not seal his ability to pass on from generation to generation, and Fredman had children, so this ability was also optional for him. However, for Weiliang, fertility is still very important. After all, he is still young and the family is still waiting for him to pass on his lineage.